Good morning, all of you. Hope all of you are safe at your home. Today, we will start our class 10th chemistry. So, let's just start with the syllabus of class 10th chemistry. Basically, in class 10th, we will discuss 5 chapters of chemistry. They are as first chapter is chemical reaction and equations. Second chapter is acids, bases and salt. Third chapter is metal and non-metals. Your fourth chapter is carbon and its compound. And the fifth chapter is periodic classification of elements. For exam point of view, all the chapters are very important. And from all the chapters, you will get it 26 marks questions. Okay, as all of you know that your final paper is of 80 marks. So out of 80, 26 marks question you will get it from chemistry. For exam point of view, all the chapters are important, but especially chapter 2, chapter 4 and chapter 5 is most important because maximum question are going to ask from these chapters. So let's just start with the first chapter, that is chemical reaction and equation. Introduction of chemical reaction and equation. So let's just see what are the topics we will discuss in this chapter. So in this chapter we will discuss about physical and chemical change. Then we will discuss about chemical reaction and their parts. Third, we will discuss the symbol used to represent chemical reaction. And fourth, we will discuss the evidences of chemical reaction. Evidences means that whenever any chemical reaction is going on, so that time what kind of changes appear or what kind of changes we observe, that with the help of those changes we rectify any, or it become very easy for us to understand that particular chemical reaction. Your fifth point is chemical equation and its part and their representation method, means how we will represent any chemical equation. Then types of chemical reaction, and after at last we will discuss corrosion and rancidity. Along with that we will also discuss some NCERT questions and practice it. Okay, so let's just start our chapter. Starting with the comparative study of physical and chemical change. Let's just see what is physical change and chemical change. Physical change is the change of matter that occurs without changing chemical composition of matter. At the same time, what is chemical change? A chemical change is the change of chemical composition of matter. Okay. Physical change is basically reversible change, means we are able to reverse it, and chemical change we are not able to reverse it. In physical change new product are not formed, but in chemical change always new product get formed. Some changes occur when heating and cooling is done. Physical change also occur by the heating and cooling also. Similarly, in chemical change, the changes also involve the absorption and the releases of energy, either in a form of heat or in other form of energy. Similarly, the changes have no effect on the chemical bond of molecule of a substance, means whatever their original behavior, that is not going to get changed after the physical change. But here in chemical change, it shows the direct effect on the chemical bond of molecule in a substance. Let's just understand physical change and chemical change more clearly with some examples. So here change in matter, physical and chemical. So here some figures are there, by just see it. By seeing it only you just understand what exactly the physical change and what is chemical change. In physical change, cookies crumbling means when we crumble the cookies, it remains same the cookies only. Their nature doesn't get changed. Their taste doesn't get changed. But in chemical change, burning of wood, after the burning, it become ash. Similarly, melting of ice, after the melting of ice, it just get converted into form of water, and again when we freeze it, we again able to get it into form of ice. But here egg frying, when we fry a egg, we get the omelette, which we are not able to turn it back into form of egg. Similarly, in physical change, breaking of pencil, and here in chemical change, baking of cake. Again in physical change, paper ripening, and in chemical change, burning of candle. See here, the burning of candle involve or shows both the changes, physical change also and chemical change also. Now the next example is dissolving of sugar in water. When we evaporate water, we are able to get back the sugar. So it comes in a category of physical change. Similarly, dissolving salt in water. This also consider as a chemical change because salt get dissociated in a form of their ions. So these are the some example of physical change and chemical change. By seeing this, we just understood that in physical change, no new substance get formed, and in chemical change, always new substances formed with totally new property. So let's just start with the introduction of chemical reaction. What is chemical reaction? Basically, your chemical reaction is a chemical change in which one or more substance are destroyed and one or more new substance are created. Okay, so look at here, just look the figure. Before the reaction, hydrogen gas is there and oxygen gas is there, and when they both get combined, it gives the water in a form of liquid. Earlier, both the hydrogen and oxygen is present in a gaseous form, but after the change, it is present in a liquid form. So basically, what is chemical reaction? It is a type of a chemical change in which two or more substances get destroyed, and because of the destroying of two or more substance, or we can say that the combination of two or more substance, we are getting a new set of substance with totally new properties. So that type of change is called as a chemical reaction. So what are the parts of any chemical reaction? Let's just see. Any chemical reaction is basically made up of two parts, that is reactant part and product part. Here, with the one example, you will understand ki what is reactant and what is product. Suppose Zn, zinc react with sulfuric acid, that is H2SO4, gives you ZnSO4 plus hydrogen gas, liberation of hydrogen gas beta. Okay, now the set of substance, the set of compound which is present on the left hand side of the arrow, this is the arrow which is present on the left hand side of the arrow, they are called as a reactant, and the set of the compound which is present on the right hand side of the arrow, they are called as a product. In more simple language, we can say that reactant, the substance that are destroyed by the chemical change, that is called as reactant, and the product, the substance created by the chemical change, that is called as a product. And in order to make difference between reactant and product, suppose A plus B, they both are reactant, so and C is the product. So in order to make difference between reactant and product, we used to put arrow sign. The head of the arrow indicate or it is towards the product, and the tail of the arrow is indicated towards the reactant. So basically there are two parts of chemical reaction, that is the reactant and the product. Now some other symbols which we used in a chemical reaction, that is their state of matter. Generally, to make any chemical reaction more informative, we use some symbols like solid, liquid, gases and aqueous. And in order to make difference between two or more reactant, we use plus sign. Similarly, if two or more product get formed, then we use plus sign. And in order to differentiate, in order to make difference between reactant and product, we use arrow sign. Here hydrogen, so hydrogen we are knowing as a gas, but the other person is not knowing. So in order to make them more informative, we use small g as a symbol to represent the gaseous form. Then it get react with oxygen gas, which is also represented along with a small g. And after the reaction, see here the two reactants are there now. Whenever two or more reactants are there, in order to differentiate, we will put plus sign. And after the reaction, we will get 2 mole of water molecule, 2 mole of water molecule. So in order to differentiate reactant and product, we used to put arrow sign. The head of the arrow is always towards the product and the tail of the arrow is always towards the reactant. So likewise this, we are able to make any chemical reaction more informative. If any reactant is present in a liquid form, then we used to put either a aqueous sign or a liquid sign. Okay now, basically when we see in many chemical reaction, we are able to see two type of arrow. One arrow is this, which shows the or which indicate the presence of irreversible reaction, and one sign is this, which shows the presence of reversible reaction. Now the question is that what is reversible and what is irreversible reaction? So reversible or irreversible reaction is basically, see, when you get a single arrow which shows the presence of irreversible reaction, means reactants are getting converted into form of product. And when you get this kind of sign, this is a sign of reversible reaction, means that reactant is getting into form of product, but at the same time product is also getting converted into form of reactant. So these two type of arrow usually we see in chemical reaction. And likewise this, by putting small s, small l, small g, we make our chemical equation more informative. Now we will see the evidences of chemical equation, what they are. Basically, in order to observe the change, we will observe the evolution of heat and light. Many chemical reactions are there in which the evolution or absorption of heat is there. For example, when you mix a quicklime, which is a calcium oxide, along with water molecule, water is present in a liquid state and quicklime is present in a solid state, and after the reaction you will get a slaked lime. You will get a slaked lime which is also in a solid state, along with the liberation of heat energy. This delta represent this triangle sign is a delta sign. This represent the presence of heat or evolution of heat. So in many chemical reaction you will see there is a release of energy in a form of heat, and that type of reaction is known as a exothermic reaction. And many chemical reaction are there in which the absorption of heat is there. For example, CaCO3. In this, the absorption of heat is there, and because of this, calcium oxide along with carbon dioxide gases formed. So this type of reaction is known as a endothermic reaction. Let's just see some more evidences and more observation which we observe during chemical reaction. Second observation is temperature change. Many times we observe the change in temperature of a chemical reaction. Now the third one is formation of gases. There are many chemical reactions in which the release of gases are there. The most common and the most important one of the reaction is when you heat lead nitrate. When you heat lead nitrate, what you will get? You will get a black precipitate of lead oxide along with the release of nitrogen gas, which is brown in color. Nitrogen gas, that is NO2. And along with the release of oxygen gas, which is colorless in nature. So in many chemical reaction, you will see there is a evolution of or the release of many chemical gases. Now the next observation is change in new substance or the change in color. Many chemical reaction you will observe कि there is a change in color, like rusting of iron. Whenever the rusting will take place, the color of the iron get changed now. So that type of observation also shows that the presence of chemical reaction. Now in many chemical reaction you will see the formation of a precipitate. Here by the figure it just get clear. Now what is precipitate? The formation of a solid substance after the chemical change. Then that solid substance is called as a precipitate, and that type of reaction is known as a precipitation reaction. So let's just understand with one more example, like when barium chloride BaCl2 react with sodium sulfate NaSO4. So after the reaction you will get BaSO4 along with 2 mole of NaCl. So barium sulfate, the color of barium sulfate is white precipitate, means white color solid which is formed after the reaction. So many chemical reaction are there in which you will observe the change in color, you will observe the formation of precipitate, you will observe the formation of gases, you will observe the absorption and evolution of heat energy. So these are the evidences, these are the characteristics of gases. Now we will discuss about what is chemical equation. So basically a chemical equation is the symbolic representation of chemical reaction in form of symbol and formula. Means when we represent any chemical reaction with the help of their symbols, with the help of their formula, then we call it as a chemical equation. Now what are the parts of chemical equation? In that also 2 parts are there, that is the reactant part and the product part. Now representation method of chemical equation. What are the representation method of chemical equation? So basically there are 3 ways by which we can represent any chemical equation. What they are? First method is explanatory method. Second method is word equation method. Third method is skeleton method. Now what is explanatory method? Explanatory method and word equation method. Basically a statement that indicates the reactant and product in a chemical reaction, that is known as a word equation. Means that when we represent any chemical reaction with the help of a small word in order to show the presence of reactant, and product, so that type of representation is known as a word equation method. And when we show that equation in a form of sentence, when we represent the word equation in a form of sentence, then it is called as a explanatory method of representation. So that's all for today. Next point or next method we will discuss in our next lecture video. So for that, thank you all of you.